everyone, welcome back to Bible Talk Time. In today's video, we are talking about who is King Josiah. Now, some of us may have heard of who he is, but we may not know exactly what the Bible tells us. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So first we're going to start with some background. The background of him and his ancestors. So this is all paraphrasing, by the way. So in the Bible, in Judges, it tells us that Manasseh, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, is Josiah's grandfather. He reigned from the age of 12 for 55 years. He was like 67 years old when he died. So the Bible tells us that he built false idols and worshiped them and made Israel worship them as well. And he was not only, like, him and Israel were not the only ones worshiping them, all of Judah was. And he did the same thing that the Amorites did, and they were killed for that. They were killed for worshiping these false idols. So, God brought such evil to everyone, and everyone in Israel that were worshiping these false idols. And if you do evil and you don't believe in God, then he will bring evil onto you. And it says that both of his ears tingled when he was told that. God will destroy all the false gods and people worshiping it. Because God is a jealous God, but he is a just God. He is the judge, and you will reap what you sow. So, since the day that the Israelites escaped Egypt, they were still worshiping false gods since the day they escaped. So, not only were they worshiping these false idols, but he was killing innocent people. He was evil. And, you know, murder is wrong, it's a sin. It's in the 10 Commandments. And if you want to know what all that his grandfather Manasseh did, you can look it up in Chronicles. And Paul tells us that he wrote the rest of it in there. So if you want a more in-depth study on Josiah and who he was and his grandparents, just let me know in the comments. And I'll do an in-depth study of that. So he died, and his son reigned, which is Josiah's dad. His name is Amon. He reigned at the age of 22. He did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did the same exact thing that his dad did. And it ends up that his servants ended up killing him, and so then Josiah became king, and he was and is still the youngest person to reign Israel. He started reigning at the age of 8 years old. And in the Bible, in Judges, it tells us that he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. So Josiah followed God and did what God told him to do. So the high priest, Hilkiah, something like that, found the scribes of the Old Testament. And then when Josiah heard this, he asked if he would read them to him. So they read them to him, and he realized all the wrong that his dad did and his grandfather did. And he went and they took him to a prophetess. And they asked what all this meant. And she told them that if they didn't stop, then God was going to destroy them, just like he destroyed the people, like their ancestors. He asked God what would happen to him because of adultery, which is false idol worship. And because they worship false idols, God took away their lives from the prior king. He let evil take a hold of the city. So in verse 18 and 20, it tells us that Josiah did not die and would not die like his fathers. He said he heard Josiah's prayers, and in peace God will give him peace in his life and not evil. So when Josiah heard what was going on and that they had been doing all this stuff, he rent his clothes and he asked God to forgive them and to forgive him for everything that he had done. And God saw that. That is all found in chapter 22 of Judges, if you want to go look at that. Now in chapter 23, it tells us more about what Josiah did after he heard everything. So it says, in 4 through 8, he destroyed the false buildings and took away the false priests, and he stomped on them. He broke the false idols and threw them with the bones of men. So not only did he destroy all of the false temples, he destroyed all of the false priests. He got them all together like he was going to throw a party, and he killed all of them because they were not worshiping God. And 21:22, if you want to follow along, the people forgot about the Passover and didn't celebrate it. So Josiah brought it back to celebration. And then he killed all of the wizards, familiar spirits, idols, images, and abominations. And the Bible tells us there was no king like him or after. He turned to God with all of his heart, soul, and mind. And God had mercy on Jerusalem because of Josiah's faith. Josiah was killed, and it goes on to tell us that Josiah was killed by the Pharaoh. So we should be like Josiah. Josiah was brave, God-fearing, wise. He was bold. He was a warrior for God, strong-minded. But it also tells us he was the king, and he was one of the greatest kings to ever reign Israel. If you did enjoy this Bible talk time, let me know, and let me know if you would like me to do any others. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. And love God, love people, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.